Now, a little earlier in the Commons, the Prime Minister led tributes to the Queen, who today became the country's longest-serving monarch, overtaking Queen Victoria's reign of 63 years, 7 months and 2 days, to be precise. But she's not everyone's cup of tea. Graham Smith is the Chief Executive of Republic, which campaigns for the abolition of the monarchy. Here's his soapbox.
Some people will want to celebrate today's royal milestone. I won't be among them. I don't think it's an achievement to keep a job for life for life. I believe, like many millions of people in this country, that the monarchy is wrong, whether for pragmatic, principled or political reasons. We know the monarchy is actually very expensive. Republic has estimated the total cost of the monarchy at £334 million every year. That's including security, cost to local councils and lost revenue from the duchies.
But the monarchy generates millions through tourism, I hear you say. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. People come here for our culture, our history, our heritage and our countryside, all of which will be here long after the monarchy is gone.
Royal influence is felt all along Whitehall and throughout our political system. It's supposedly a constitutional monarchy, but the royals do have the power to push their own agenda and to defend their own interests. The Crown also gives politicians far too much power. The power to hand out honours, for example, to sign treaties, to make law in the Privy Council and to go to war. It is one reason why Prime Ministers are among the staunchest of monarchists. The Crown is a centrepiece for a deeply flawed political system, one which concentrates too much power in the hands of too few. But even if you don't think all that is important, on a matter of principle, isn't it time that we embrace the democratic alternative and started electing our head of state? Someone that understands our lives and who we can hold to account. So as we reflect on the past, isn't it time we started thinking about the future, about who's going to succeed the Queen and how they will be chosen?
And Graham Smith joins us here in the studio. Welcome. I mean, despite your claims, republicanism in the UK, do you agree remains a fairly muted affair, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's particularly muted in the sense that, I mean, 20% of the population on average on any day support the idea that we should get rid of the monarchy. The campaign is growing. It's obviously a difficult thing to do, to campaign on any issue and to get your voice heard in the media.
But maybe that's because there isn't that much support for it in terms of they think the Queen's done a good job.
Well, there's a lot more support for republicanism than there is, for example, for the Liberal Democrats these days, and indeed for the UKIP.
That might be a low bar for the Liberal Democrats.
But the point is that, I mean, this programme is an island of common sense and a sea of fawning.
Oh, well done. All right, you've got your place back on in a few weeks.
A sea of fawning nonsense today in the media. I mean, it really is nonsense. And we need to have a grown-up discussion about the fact that we've got a person who's head of state, she's got a job in a public office, never had to face election, never been properly challenged, never been properly scrutinised. I don't think that's something to celebrate in a democratic society.
But maybe the reason, as you say, or you claim, that it's difficult to get a campaign like this going, but maybe it is because, as I said, she has done a good job. Do you think she's done a good job in the role as monarch?
Well, I don't think she's a particularly great head of state. I think monarchs have a very low, the bar is set very low for monarchs. Don't say anything, don't do anything controversial, and she's managed to do that. But, I think that we ought to be setting the bar a bit higher. We ought to be choosing someone who can genuinely represent the people because they are from among us and they are one of us. They've been elected by us, and also who can play a constitutional role. Because there is a political issue here, which is that the Crown centralises an awful lot of power in number 10. Our Parliament is often treated as an extension of government, and the people pretty much get locked out after election day.
I mean, Chuck, what's your response to that? I mean, is this really a sort of a prominent issue?
I don't think it is. I mean, it wasn't raised with me once during the whole of the general election campaign. And I mean, outside of the immediate campaign, I mean, in the months in the lead-in, look, I'm no defender of the hereditary principle. I think it sits uneasily with modern Britain. But frankly, I think she has done a very good job indeed. I don't agree that she hasn't met the threshold for being a good head of state. I think she's gone far beyond that over the years. And frankly, if you were to replace her with somebody elected, I just do not think there is an appetite for having another prominent elected politician at that level. So in a funny way, I mean, you could argue, although you could argue there is a degree of support for her. I mean, it'd be interesting, actually, if you say went down your avenue and you had an election and the Queen stood for election, I think she'd win by a country mile, actually.
Well, that would be something to watch, wouldn't it?
That may be so. I don't actually think that would happen because the Queen has never really had to be in that situation. I mean, you never invite the Queen or Charles into this studio to answer questions.
We've tried.
No, but she watches.
Maybe she does, but I think that...
No, maybe she does.
The point is that you have...
We read it in the Daily Mail.
King Charles is going to be head of state, and that is a politician, but he's an unelected politician. And I think that the point is, you know, whoever they are, however they get there, they are in politics, they are head of state, and they ought to be accountable. And whether that's directly elected or chosen by Parliament, it needs to be someone who is accountable, who is representative, and can actually play a role in the run-up to the last...
I think our current system is far superior to the alternatives. We've got
Our current system is
consistency and continuity. Going spanning.
All right.
There is almost nothing
and
right
politicians
with our
come and go, and
system.
people elect the government that runs it.
Well,
Also,
she
in the democratic-
certainly has got staying power, whatever you say. She'll be having her
It's very
debonnaire
easy to have
now.
staying power when you never challenge through the ballot box.
Graham Smith, thank you.
Thank you.